Thank you very much. I hope that at the end of this paper, you will understand how to handle what triggers difficulty in teenagers. What triggers difficulty in them? Because every child is born innocent, very innocent, and that is what the Bible tells us. Innocent in the sense that even though by virtue of the commitment in Eve, in Adam and Eve, we misbehaved. When a child is born, I'm not an educationist by training, like Professor Mrs. Amali, who is coming to do justice to that, the next version later. She will tell you from the educationist standpoint. But I know that when a child is born, there is an innate desire for sin, there is an innate desire for wrongdoing. That's what the Bible tells us. But it is possible for that child to properly be nurtured and brought up very well, in a way that even when the innate wrong life begins to interfere with the upbringing, what did the Bible say? When he grows up, he will not depart from the way you have trained the child to be. I hope we understand that. We understand that. So it is inside every small child. Nobody taught the child to do waka. But as long as the father and mother keep saying, don't be doing waka. Waka is not allowed in this house. Waka will go out of that child, isn't it? Yes. Yes. So there is every reason for us to get serious with these issues. All right. We have also learned already that teenagers are boys and girls between the age of 13 and 19. The characteristics of teenagers, we have heard much already. We have read much already. There is growth changes announcing self-consciousness. And this self-consciousness can lead to personality crisis, just like we're hearing in all the questionnaire we filled in the talk of Dr. Loture. He has done much justice to that. They adventure into new levels. Just when they become teenagers, they will just tell you that, they will tell everybody around, I'm not a child. I think you have been hearing your teenagers say, I'm not a child, don't treat me like a child. That is, there is a new level. And they want everybody to know that there is a new level they have come into. And this level has its own peculiarities, and they want to explore everything. They also explore myths. Recently, one teenager told me that he did not know anything about sex. By the way, I would like to inform you that when we were commissioned into this ministry, by the inspiration of God, my husband took off for the secondary schools in Benue State. Using his privileged opportunity as a teacher of teachers, he will call a principal and say, I'm coming with my wife and some friends to your school. Please, can you give us 2 hours? And they will say, yes, Prof. 2 hours, 3 hours, they will shut down the whole school. Everybody will sit down and listen to us. So we were going from one school to another. And when we speak for 1 hour, we spend 2 hours to be able to counsel them, listen to their stories, and also counsel them. And we got a lot of experiences from these visits to schools. We distribute free books to them, talk to them about the colorful future and the bright future. And we got to hear plenty stories. Recently, one teenager told me that my mother keeps telling me that the day you have sex, you will die. The day you have sex, you will die. Is it true? But she has been having sex with her husband and giving birth to all of them, and she didn't die. The guy did not think about this, but until his father offended him. When his father got him really angry, he said, now I want to die. And the man sent him out of the house and said, don't come to my house again, stay out. The person who opened the door for him to take him in was camping girls. And he just allocated one of the girls to him, innocent teenager. From that night, he began to have sex. And the first experience, he said it was not funny, but the man kept encouraging him and teaching him how to do it. And he did. He didn't die. Then he told himself, my mother said I would die and I didn't die. So what's the problem? So when you are dealing with teenagers, please break up the myths. Don't make anything mystical. Don't make it sound like something. Break it down. Break it down. The woman would have told the son, you are not supposed to have sex now. Sex should wait until you are married. If you have it now, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. They are exploring people. So don't walk on their heads. Don't use their heads by telling them things in mystical words. Using mystical words compound their issues. Eventually, God helped him. When he got into our environment, he got born again. He now had to confess to his mother and say, you told me that if I have sex, I will die. I want to confess to you, I've had sex and I didn't die. And the woman said, why did you do it? He said, but I didn't die. Then she now opened up the next level and now knew it is time to tell him the whole truth. So tell the truth. There's nothing wrong with it. Tell the truth and then show the borders. Show where the fire is. Okay? All right. So we have talked about, the characteristics we have talked about. They are also energetic and full of ideas. They are not just negative. They are energetic. Thank you. They are full of ideas. They are crazy about technology. They are tech savvy about technology. Anything technology, they are so crazy to the point that they can lose their minds using it. Applications on their phones, the ones that are appearing. How many teenagers have we bailed out of trouble? Because all these loan apps that are showing up on these things, they want to exploit. They say, borrow 500,000. You can pay. Say, hey, when I borrow, I'll use it for crypto. Then they'll go and borrow. They will do this, they'll be hiding from the parents until text messages will start arriving. How many times have you seen parents suffer from that kind of issue? Have you ever experienced it? That parents will just sit down and their teenage children borrowed money through apps. It's because this is what they now have Android phones and everything dancing on their phones. They want to explore it. So they are crazy about technology. Yesterday, I was speaking with a teenager in the house. We put money in your account for you to use your on campus. Then he carried the money and put in another wallet. And he was supposed to travel and come down. Why are you not here? And I said he's waiting for his money to drop. I said, drop from where? He said, from the wallet. Which wallet? The account we put the money inside. Don't you have ATM? He said he has. So which wallet is that? He said, Mommy, you won't understand. I said, actually. I said, so who will understand now? Then she was calling a small lady, another young girl, to come and also tell me what it meant. I said, sit down, let me teach you. These wallets, if you have 2,000 naira left in the money we gave to you, and you want to save it away, that's when you should go to the wallet. It's not supposed to go into that wallet when you know that in the next few minutes you need to use the money. That's to tell you how crazy teenagers can be about technology. They appear loosely and crave for noticeable identity. Okay? They have little patience for details of these things. And they have the capacity to be snappy. They don't care for serious issues. See, as you see me with this gray hair, my greatest fans, they are teenagers. They just say, oh, Mommy, I like your hair. I say, pay money. If you pay money, I'll cut some for you. And we all laugh and share the joke. Why do they like my hair? One day I asked my son, why do teenagers like the way I appear? He said, Mommy, it's because you are not cumbered about many things. You know, we don't like being cumbered about many things. Nothing is too serious, for you. You just appear natural. We like you like that. So that's how to tell you that they like small things. They don't like bogus. They don't like boring things. Things can easily get boring for teenagers. Okay? They throw tantrums or they sulk. Throwing tantrums could be that you are saying what they don't like, they snap at you, bang the door, or walk away in some sluggish way, or do like what Dr. Loture was doing here. Is it you or Uncle Jimmy?
Say, yes, mom, what were you saying? Somebody has been sitting with you, you have been talking, he has switched off his mind. All of those things, they are protest signals. And we should understand that that is teenagers' lifestyles. Doctor stood here and has also x-rayed some of them about teenagers. They like peering and pressuring. They like ganging up together. They like being in one group or the other. And they like putting pressure on each other to do some wrong or right things. They speak in codes and slangs. Some of the codes and slangs that I got are these. CU46. The acronym means CU for sex. 9 stroke, is that stroke or dash? 9 dash short means for a parent is watching. That is either my parent is around or my mom is around, somebody is watching. GNOC is an acronym that means get naked on camera. Put your phone and get naked and send to me. That's what it means. Then when they see you and say hi, it either means good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Or they say, hey, is attention seeking. That's what this new world is. He has told you about the 21st century teenager already. So let's not spend too much time on this. Who are the difficult teenagers? We are talking about generally how teenagers are. Who are the difficult teenagers? Look at them, strong-willed. The difficult teenagers are strong-willed. Can you see the kind of mountain they are climbing there? See how delicate that picture is, and see how dogged they are going. Even see the height, very strong-willed. If you tell them don't do this, even when you have broken it down, they tell you, it's my world, I have my own mind. Those are difficult teenagers. They don't want to be coached. No matter how much you try as a parent, it's difficult to reach down to them. Is that taken? Okay. They are self-styled. You see this kind of weird, this kind of looks. If you ask the teenager, all these things you have put on your body like this, what do they represent? Say, that's my style. That's my style. That's a difficult teenager because he feels that the whole world surrounds what she thinks or what he thinks, and he has his own style. His style has to be respected and obeyed. That's a difficult teenager. Okay? A difficult teenager is also wild and weird in behavior. If you have one difficult teenager in your house or in your class, all the other people are at risk because of their strong-willed nature. They have the capacity to influence others in the wrong direction. Those are difficult teenagers. Okay? Non-cooperating and non-compliance. Now, let me tell you something about this picture. I went to AI and I asked AI to give me a picture of a Nigerian teenager that is non-cooperating and non-compliant. See the picture that came out. It sounded funny. When I saw it, I laughed. I said, "Oh, what about this guy is not compliant in the Nigerian sense?" Let's pick it out. What? The hair? Yes. The what? The graffiti, yes. Then what again? The bamboos, what again? Okay, what again? The earrings. If you appear like this in a house in Nigeria, this boy must be in the court. So that is the picture of a difficult teenager is non-compliant and is non-cooperative. He has his own self-styled weird life that he wants to push in a very strong-willed manner. I hope we are getting somewhere. Then what are the triggers? What are the triggers? The triggers here. Triggers means ordinarily, if a teenager is born by parents and has grown and is also in school and hearing some teachers teaching, at least not all schools are wild. These wild schools, they are just coming. Most schools like teaching good values, kneel down, raise your hand, crawl, do frog jump, stand on one leg. There are common punishments that they used to give to frame the life of children. But what are these things that trigger difficulty in teenagers? Most of them are not born difficult. They just became affected. The first trigger is poor parenting. Can you see that picture? I hope I'm not blocking some people here. Can you see that picture? What do you see in that picture? Just one fast response. What do you see in that picture? The parents disagree. They disagree from one thing to another, one thing to another, one thing to another. The kind of food they will eat today, they disagree. The kind of toothpaste they will use, they disagree. They start from disagreeing with themselves. Then they will go and be disagreeing on the children right in their presence. Don't beat my child, beat my child. Why are you beating my child? Why are you talking like that? And they are not even looking at the child, they are looking in their own directions. So poor parenting is the first trigger, is the first thing that makes a teenager very difficult. You are going to see it in one video very soon that will come across. Another one on poor parenting is children take more notice of what their parents do than what they say. So you can see these people, they are trying to lift their legs and to jump. As both of them are holding him, he has gone above their heads. He is learning faster than what they are doing. This picture is blurred, but I don't know if you can catch it. This toddler, what is he doing? This is a self-willed toddler. You don't know what that child is holding. This child is holding matches. This drum here is that ajip. I think that looks like fuel or something inflammable. Then up here there is a block, and then there is a slim something just suspended by this block. So what do you think of this child carrying matches and going this way? What happened to the child? What happened? Okay. Okay, something more. Somebody should give me a more accurate answer. What do you think happened here? Thank you. God bless you, Tina. That's my baby. The parents are not putting an eye. The parents are absent-minded. They are busy, or they are lost in their own self-will and whatever they are doing. They are lost. They don't know that parenting is a gift from God. We are going there very soon. Sorry. There is poor parenting here too. Please, sir, let me press that. Let me press the play button. Yes, this is.
True. It can be true, Sarah. And it is the truth. Please let me go before he calls the cops on me, or even do worse, do something dangerous to me. Please try to understand. You're still here? Yeah! You have 10 seconds to get out of here. Now! Get out!
Just watch the middle belt crisis.
I want him in this house again. You understand?
I didn't know you were racist.
You watch your mouth.
Sarah, don't say that about your father. No, you too. You know, being an accomplice to racism is also racist. Don't talk like that. Your father only wants what's best for you. How do you even know that Curtis isn't what's best for me? You're only judging the color of his skin.
Oh. That's your opinion. But what I do know is I do not want him in this house. I don't even want him near this house, period.
We're only watching out for you. You know what? Why don't you watch out for yourselves and leave me alone?
Hey! Hey!
James!
Okay.
Let's just watch patiently because this will stick more in your mind than plenty things I say.
That's great news.
I believe that.
Probably up in her room. Sarah! Sarah! I don't know where she is.
Come on, have a seat.
So what's the good news?
Let's wait for Sarah to come down.
Oh,
So how's your day?
good. Same old, you know, just me. Oh, here she is. Sarah, have a seat. Your dad has some great news to tell us. And important too.
Okay.
So today, the CEO of our company visited our branch. He actually made an announcement. All the department heads, he says he's going to select one of the department heads. to-
Sarah wants to watch TV now.
Put it down. Listen to your father.
So he's going to call us all. We're all going to have a one-on-one meeting with him. And then he's going to make a decision. But he's going to take all our families out for dinner individually.
All right, you can stop it. Let me tell the remaining story. Thank you very much. You have watched Sarah's father display his prejudice before the teenager. I am not exonerating the teenager for bringing a man to his room, but that's their world. Okay, that's their world. It's not our own world. Until next tomorrow, I won't have any girl in my house who will bring a boy to his room. I will not. I am the adult and you are the teenager. We will scheme how it will never happen. Yes, but this is their world. And what happened to these people eventually is that this guy that he pushed out of the house because he was a black guy is a son of his employer, the owner of the company where he works. He was manning the outstations in Canada and other places. Now the man was already getting old and he wanted to hand over the company to to Mr. Lawson. So he was coming for a meeting with them in their family, to have a dinner with them, and then also pronounce the handing over of the companies to him. So the dinner, Sarah herself was not even aware. She knows that her friend is a leader of the company or something, but she didn't know that he has to do with her own father's employer. And the man himself was not aware. The man was not aware. Then when eventually the man came in, he said, "Oh, sorry, I brought a wrong envelope." The papers he wanted to hand over. I said, "Please, let me call my son to bring the envelope." And here, Chorus was again at the door. And the man was like, when the doorbell rang, "Why did you come again? I told you never to come here. Aren't you hearing?" Then he said, "Sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you. My father called me and asked me to bring an envelope with me." He said, "Your father? You mean Mr. Sanders is your father?" And the end of the story is that he refused to give him the company. In fact, he called him for a meeting in the office. And of course, your guess is as right as mine. He said racism is not acceptable to him. And then his daughter too was point blank that you are my parents. You love relating to blacks who are rich. You don't like the color of their skin, but you want to relate to them. Now I want to relate this story to us here. We have a lot of prejudices. And then one will bring it before our teenagers. One, you are not practicing what you preach. Two, you are not showing them good examples. How about the teenagers that bring men to marry? Idoma man, you are coming to marry a thief person. You like this? You don't know what Idoma people used to do in those days? You bring the children and worship before they will not look at you as a hypocrite. And you are carrying Bible up and down. Or you are teaching many things. You are in schools. You are also teaching other people's children. Why are you not doing the thing you are preaching? Those are triggers. Triggers to making teenagers difficult. Where am I? Meanwhile, in spite of all that is going on, come and hear what the Bible had to say. Is it my battery that is dying or what? Please, okay, sorry. Meanwhile, the first one is that the Bible says that the children will not be given what is due to them because they are children. It's not going next. Just go back. The first, yes. What I am saying is that as long as the heir is a child, he is not different from a slave. Although he owns the whole estate, he is subject to guardians and trustees. The point I want to bring out is that parents, teachers, proprietors, church workers who have to do with teenagers, you are a guardian, you are a trustee. Because God has things in stock for these people, they may never be able to see. There's an adage in my place that what an elder lies down in the room and sees, a child can climb to the rooftop but may never ever see it. Do you understand? So God has in His word said that. Sorry, what's going on? Please go back. Yes. Back to the second, yes, the next one, yes. You should train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The word of God promised, and we have seen it. And by God's grace, we have a rare privilege as a family of coming in contact with all manners of teenagers. As you see me with gray hair, I just turned 60 only this year. I'm not an old woman. But because I gathered a lot of teenagers in my house at a point, I grew gray faster. Otherwise, you will not make the desired impact in their lives. You have to know that there is a time limit for this training. Everybody has a time limit. This thing is not forever. It's not forever. Okay, next, please help me. This thing is not moving again. Yes. And our foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction drives it out. I like what the CEO was saying about the 21st century. But that is just a knowledge for us to know how we are going to gather momentum, how we are going to develop muscle to follow these people. It's not to permit them. Are you hearing me? Don't be permissive. Don't be permissive. In our house, when we had many teenagers, I had a basic rule. 10 p.m., nobody should be in the parlor. Nobody. Boy or girl, go to your room. 10 p.m. And everybody knew. If you are alone in the parlor, the only TV we had was in the parlor. So all of us will watch it there. If you are given a laptop, you are never given a laptop until you have reached higher institution and you needed it. And when you are using it, you know that the way this thing, you see, from day one, I've said that we have been together for 36 years. What we did is that from day one, we had morning devotion every day. And that morning devotion is like Bible school. Any scripture we read, everything will be said that has to do with that scripture. If it touches on immorality, everybody just listen. We will describe the matter from beginning to the end. So nobody is left untaught. So that if you enter a room and you even want to watch pornography, guilt will kill you there. You can't even try. Because this thing has been oversaid. It has been overdrummed. It has been overprayed. And we say it with very clear examples. By our own lives, we are also living by that example. So if you are not living by example, a young lady once came to me and said, please, I live in a house where my uncle and my auntie, they watch blue films and they have them in their room stacked up there. So when they go to work, I sneak into my auntie's room and carry the blue films and continue from there. You can't have that in our house. You can't. If I see you wanting to be watching TV or playing video all alone, I will soon ransack your room. If I get there, anyone I find that is wrong, I will burn them with my fingers. At the same time, we all, we knew that loving the children has no equal. All the children that ever grew up in our house, you have no reason to say these people don't love me. You can't say that. You can't say that, because if you bring a need, no matter how difficult it is, we'll go out of our way and meet it. There are different ways. My people say what you use in showing a child love is in the market. It's not in permissive bad habits and bad lives. I hope you understand. This generation needs to know that there is a future. And if we permit them, they will not get there. So you can love them, you can hug them, you can, kiss them, you can bring them close, buy them all the things they need, make life easy for them. But when you sense a wrong life, don't. Because the Bible says it is foolishness in their hearts, and it's only a rod of correction that drives it out. The rod of correction may not be physical cane. It can depend on what the problem is. And as the problem graduates, that's arguments. If you have another argument, feel free to bring. I'm not tired. And I'm not afraid of any tantrum. So if you are not firm, like somebody who is leading them, they will not. Yesterday, Bishop Oyedepo gave a real I wash. He gave there's a phrase he gave. I couldn't quote the phrase correctly because I failed to write it down. And I've been searching for that reel. He said something about being firm and the destiny. I can't remember. But if you are not firm, you will not have a firm destiny. Let me say it in my own way now. I can't remember whether that was what he said. So if we have Congress, we will drag the matter until you tell me. So what we should be following now? You will use your mouth to tell me what the answer of this problem is. I hope you understand what we are saying. That is very tasking. But if you know that there is a time frame for this interaction, for the influence you are supposed to have on the life of the teenager, you have a time frame. And you are desperate under God to achieve something. As you pray, God gives you the wisdom to change the system. Thank you very much. Next one. Yes, the next trigger is the social media. Look at the different kinds of social media outlets there. There is LinkedIn, there is Facebook, there is Twitter, they call it X now. There is Google Plus, there is Twitter, Hangouts, all those things. All kinds of groups on the social media. This is another trigger to a difficult life of a teenager. And in our own small group there, we're talking about the age at which you can release phone to a teenager. That teenager, one of that teenager called me and said, Mommy, I have a serious need. I said, yes, what is it? He said, I found an Android phone that I want to buy. I have this amount. This amount is left. You know what I told the teenager? I said, sorry. Me and my husband, we don't support this kind of need. Very clear. I said, we don't support this kind of need. This is not your need now. You are looking for admission to the university. What do you have to do with Android phone? What do you have to do? And there are thousands of students on campus who have no Android phones. Some of them are having first class. One teenager told us he's now reading medicine. He told me in our parlor, he said, each time you meet this guy, he's in his room. One day I called him. I said, why are you always in the room? He said, Mommy, I have a special problem with watching TV. And if I have my way, when I have my children, there will be no TV in the house. I said, you are a teenager and you are saying this? He said, yes, that he has carried an independent study on the influence of the media on the young people's mind. I said, you as small as you are? I said, yes. And he gave me a very clear analogy on what he would do himself. He has a phone, but the phone doesn't bother him at all. He goes to the phone when he wants to go there and makes all his calls and drops it away. And I think this has to do with the upbringing, what he watched from here and there, people he wanted to be like. So it is possible for us to change the narrative. Okay? In your home, Android phones are not needed. I have, just as somebody was speaking, I was telling my husband that that's what little angel did to me. One of my grandchildren, she would just come. I have a phone. She will just do like this, and she will be inside the video and the photo. She will snap herself. I'll be seeing her. I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm just snapping. How did you get there? Then she showed me how. So, those small people, even though they see the appetite is inside them because of their age, I'm not allowing it. And we have told their parents, watch these children, don't give them phones. Their parents bought into it, they are not giving them phones. So each time they visit us, I see them, they sit on their own. Oh. It's even my own phone they come to take now. Because their father, you can't look at his forehead and take phone. What are you doing with phone? So go ahead and study. When children are agitating for things, hold congress with them. You know what I mean by congress, ba? I call it congress because it's very tasking on you. Allow them to finish exhausting why this must happen. Then on your own, patiently tell them why it should not happen. That is what the coaching is about. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Next one. Okay. The American Psychological Association gave the following hints to parents on social media use by teenagers. First, that you should recognize that developing brains may be especially vulnerable to specific social media features. As teenagers, the part of their brain, that's part of what I read, part of their brain that tells them you are now a big person, you are now grown, you are this is this. That part does not give them control over themselves. That one is just growing. But the part that puts control, that exercises control and tampers with their appetite, that part is still developing. So if you expose them too early, it may damage that aspect. Is that okay? Are you following me? You have to monitor and discuss your child's social media use. If you discover that after each time, I have a little grandson, once he comes to the house, there's one particular cartoon that as soon as he comes, after greeting me, I think he's just 3 years old, he will say, Grandma, I want to watch Jim Jam. I said, what is in this Jim Jam? So one day I just put it on for him and I was watching him. Even if you are lifting that boy from chair, he will not know. As he's sticking his eye to Jim Jam, he will not know. So I watched him for a whole day, then I took a decision. And they come to my house frequently. Once they come, Grandma, I said, no Jim Jam. First things first. Let's see what portion of the Bible you have read today. Let's see this. Let's see this. Then we will eat. Then we will play ball. I'm the coach of the ball play. We will play ball. Then after that, we will just take a nap. And I'll make them sleep for 2 hours. Because as soon as they start sleeping, I'll play music. All of us will be sleeping. Then when they wake up, it's like, oh, mommy is about to come. Mom, Grandma, play Jim Jam. I said, don't worry, Jim Jam is coming. When I hear the sound of the car, I'll put on Jim Jam. So, because, see, my husband has always taught me that children are only problems to problem adults. You have a greater sense. You have a higher sense. You have a higher maturity. The part of your brain that exerts control has grown, has developed. You have a higher mentality than children. If your toddler is saying no, you don't even need to shout. Grab him with a strong hand and take him to where he should go. He will go there. He knows he can't struggle with that as long as a strong arm has grabbed him. That's all. You don't need to shout. You don't need to even beat. Beating is the last thing we should do, okay? Model healthy social media use. When one of my children was in primary 4, I had a desktop in the house. I personally deleted all the games from that desktop because he liked sitting there. So one day when he got there, I discovered that mommy has deleted all the games. What was he doing? He started doing a documentary. I put Britannica, the social encyclopedia, I put it on that system. So, and I put a mouse for him. So he will go there on his own. He started a program of tracing the biography of world leaders. And he did up to the point of gathering about 5,000 pages. He started by series, by alphabetical order. Asia, this. You go to Asia, all the countries in Asia, how many? One day I say, what are you always doing? He said, I should come and see. That's an interesting stuff. He's doing a project. And before he left his primary school, we had to help him edit it up to like 500 pages, did some selection, we bound it, and told him, wrote his name on it as compiled by this. Go and drop it in your primary school library. That was how we introduced him to the use of the media, of the computer. Not just sitting down and playing phone, game, ta, 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 ta. No, we didn't agree. The games have their own place, so, but I think that boy was more than the games. Eventually, the effect on that boy, let me use him as a case for you people. The effect on him, now he is a man, is that when you write 3 paragraphs of text to him, he will reply with 2 lines. When you call him, these days, so he's better because he has graduated since he's better. You will call and call and call. What happened? I said the phone was not with me, sorry. He had all this phone craze. It's not around him. He's a digital person, he's a computer literate person. In fact, that's what he's pursuing as career. But he has met it with this kind of positive outlook that we have not challenged with him. I hope you understand what we are saying. So, model healthy social media use. That's why I brought that story to you. What for problematic social media use? Once somebody is becoming so crazy that if a child starts falling down and hitting his head on the ground because you have refused to give him phone, be careful with that child. In fact, sit up. Plenty of work has come. Don't let it happen. Okay? Teach social media literacy. That's what we are saying. Teach the child these things. This is what can happen. Oh, this is what can happen. If you watch, one girl or one young man was chatting on the media with a strange girl from Ghana. I know this story very well. There are people I know, was chatting with her from Ghana until one day the guy traced him and came to Nigeria. And they decided to meet in one hotel. And guess what? He used his mouth to tell me that that was the first time he slept with a girl. And thereafter, I don't want to tell you the story of that young man. Sleeping with one girl after the other, running into one trouble, and all of that. We had another one who we are also working on and trusting God for, who just a girl followed him right to his house because of a phone. Say, we want to search on the internet for assignments. Our parents didn't have internet and they graduated. Up till now, the universities have libraries that are vibrant enough. You don't even need Android phone to do that. But this girl followed the boy, came. Night was coming. Night is coming, won't you go? He said, it's many small. Night was coming, won't you go? It's many small. After that, what happened? Say, night has come also, I can't go again. You know my parents trust you now. The boy said, okay, no problem. Went to the down. Say late in the night, the girl said the bed is not comfortable. Join him on the down. From down, they went back up. The end of the story is what you guess. So, it is not okay. The third trigger we have is peer pressure. Peer pressure is what we already all know. Look at this guy. He's holding a stick to beat those fellows. Peer pressure can be just, pep talking, just chatting small. Uncle James, how many minutes do I have? Tell me from there, no problem. Just talk. 10, fine, thank you. I'll try. Okay? Then they will carry, he will go and tell them, I'll beat you, I'll kill you if you don't join us, and all of that. Some is not as much as I will kill you. Some it is, next slide please. Some is persuasion. Come on, try it, do it, please. That is peer pressure. Next one. See what peer pressure does. They will lead you into pornography. They push you into loneliness. They can even make you push you into adultery. It's not only teenagers that have peer pressures. Even senior people do. But today we are talking about teenagers. Next one, please. They say do it. Everyone else is doing it. It's cool. You'll be popular. Do it. So the teenager is bombarded particularly with all of these pep talks, beggings. I once heard a story of somebody in their teen age who they brought this Indian herb for and said, try it. It will help you. Try it. The man will try to sleep. He will cough, say, be patient. It's going to help you. But he refused to be patient. I thank God for his life. And today, his story is completely different. The people who were patient with it, their story too, we also know how it is. So what should you do in handling difficult teenagers? Throw out the lifeline. Next line. Next slide. So what do you do in throwing out the lifeline? I have 3 proposals for you. The first one, LL-1. LL means lifeline #1. Take responsibility. Everybody say take responsibility. Take responsibility. I want to hear it again. Take responsibility. Thank you very much. No, leave it there yet. Taking responsibility could be as a teacher, as a father, as a mother, as a pastor, or even as a TFI team member. Take responsibility for these teenagers, because the virtues, the future that God has with them, you know about it. They may not see now, even if they are lying on the rooftop. They will prefer the other things. The triggers will be choking them. But you can take responsibility for them. Next slide. Take action. LL-2, take action. Fix the issues and not the teenager. You know, understand what I mean? Fix the issues. There's a difference between fixing the issues and fixing the teenager. I know that Professor Amali is going to talk about our communication pattern. That is what differentiates between fixing the issue and fixing the person. Look at your head. You will never amount to anything. Look at this. I'm a pastor. You are disgracing me. Why are you disgracing me? You are fixing the person. Fix the issue. Whatever the wrong is, hold Congress over the wrong. If it's possible, buy a bottle of water and put there. Give him one and you take one. Give him one and you take one. A serious discussion. Brainstorming, serious one. Don't get tired. Don't be put off because you have work on your hand to do. Okay? So fix the issues. Then, in fixing the issues, you can use the G model. What I call the G model, G stands for gospel. Use the gospel model. Yes, the gospel model means pray. First, pray. Matthew chapter 7 verse 7. You understand it? I know we can rehearse this. Who can rehearse this for me? Matthew 7:7. Who can rehearse it? Thank you very much. If you have a difficult teenager in your hand, ask about that child's life. Continue to ask God. If the asking is not enough, seek how to help the child. If it is not enough, knock. As in, go and open all the avenues. James Dobson said that sometimes to save a teenager, you have to create crisis in the life of that teenager. I have told you that God has given us a rare privilege of accommodating and fathering or nursing all kinds of teenagers. Once upon a time, we had to carry a teenager to law enforcement agent and lock the child up. Lock him up and give the people money to be feeding him so that he can be corrected. And it took a while. We did that because we wanted the teenager back to his senses. It is possible. That love must be tough. You must handle teenagers with tough love. Okay? Then the next one is train. No, the G model, the next one is train. Training includes all kinds of things, including what the TFI is doing. They call teenagers together, they tell them about themselves, open themselves up. I know the Imam Global Ministry too. They are doing a lot. They are doing a lot, teaching teenagers about themselves, to be sensitive and all of that, and how to handle their issues. It includes taking them for programs. It includes exposing them to people who are good and people who can be helpful. Then live by example. That has also happened. Thank you, Daddy. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Live by example. Please, Daddy, come back. Sorry. This is where I was going to call him. I was going to call him to just talk to us in 2 minutes about living by example. This man I know has been not just the father to my children, not just the father to my children, he is my own father now. I call him daddy. I don't have a father. And he has been fathering me from the day he married me. He's not tired yet. Yes. Thank you very much. So please, can you tell this my people, how it has been that you are fathering teenagers? What have you done in your own, to father the teenagers that passed through us? Just in 2 minutes, sir, before I wrap up. Thank you. And thank you for giving me water.
You see, it is said that children may listen to instructions, but they put their eyes on you to see what you do. If you are teaching about prayer to the children and teenagers, can they find you praying? If you are talking about reading the Word of God, have the children found you opening pages of scriptures in a study? And if you are also teaching on relationship, about how children and teenagers should talk to each other, we don't call them children again, no. How teenagers should be talking to one another. How do they catch you talking with their mother? Do you shout at their mother? Does their mother shout at their father? If you miss it at this point, you have brought in what I call a negative communication spiral. You have started them on something that will keep going. So the whole essence is that anything you are teaching, theoretically, do the practice. Let the children see it and let them learn how to do it through your own practice. By the grace of God, all standards of humility, we have let our children know that this is who we are, this is what we do. We go to church, we go to fellowship, we pray together every morning by the grace of God. If we are around, you must come for morning devotion. And even when I travel with her, myself and her will do the same morning devotion. It will look like when I'm talking with her and she's talking with me, the morning devotion, I will say the Bible, read chapter this and this, she will read. Then I say, read this part of the devotional booklet we have, we will read. We will share prayer points together, we will also pray. As if we were at home and all the children were there, to show that this is who we are and this is what we do. So that if you now say to these people who have been telling us to do this thing, now they have traveled, can we have a way of getting the camera to see what they are doing to themselves, where they are? You will catch us doing the same thing. Praise the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you, Daddy.
I'm not a speaker, so
Thank you, Daddy. That spiced the whole thing. Thank you. And the Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4 says, fathers, be careful not to provoke your children, because you might discourage them. Principal, don't provoke your students. Don't discourage them. Okay? The last lifeline is take a firm stand. See what I was saying. See that guy holding his young man's hand and moving on and going there. Take it. Genesis chapter 18 verse 19 says, I know Abraham. He said he will command his children after me. So a lot of us are sitting down here that in spite of our positions, in spite of the exposure we have to teenagers, all we do is snapping at them, getting angry, getting put off, ignoring them. A teenager once told me, the problem I have with my father is that he's there for everybody, other brethren, but he has never asked me, what are your needs? What are your needs? He has never asked. So please, it is not okay. It is not okay for you to allow that kind of life to rule around you if you are exposed to teenagers. The last thing I will say is that God will hold us accountable for the opportunity. My husband is here. When we got to that college, every level of students that showed up, after their matriculation, we gather all of them into the hall, whether you are Muslim or not. Provost wants to talk to students, and he will minister to you live. Live. And we talk to them like teenagers. We talk to them like people we know very well and we understand. And we find them turning their lives to Christ. It's an amazing experience that we have. Today, most of them that pass through our home, they are no longer teenagers, but they cannot forget the experiences we have. One of my daughters said, Mommy, this training is in the blood. As long as the blood is flowing, it cannot go away. And I trust God that all of us will make the best use of the opportunities that we have.